after lunchtime. So just took out a batch of green beans, so I have to wait a little bit to let everything kind of cool back down. I have enough green beans probably to do 3 more pints, and I think those will be done for a bit. We'll end up, if we get the 3 pints, we'll end up with 30 pints of green beans. So we'll be happy with that. And hopefully my green beans that are growing on the trellis will provide enough for fresh eating. I love eating fresh green beans. But so today has been a quiet morning. Mr. Jerry's gone to buy groceries. If you don't know, my hubby does the grocery shopping now. It's something that when we used to work, he worked days, I worked nights. And so he just got into the habit of doing it. And I just let him. I do go with him every once in a while, but today I was doing the beans, and he had lots of other errands to do. So I thought I would come on and chit-chat with you while he was out and about. And while I took out the beans, because I'll have to start up the last one after I get done chatting with you guys. So, but I hope you are doing well. We could finally open our windows up. Last night it got into the 50s, and we could open our windows up. We opened up the bedroom window, and both woke up kind of like, ugh, you know. Could feel it in my throat and everything. It's that air quality. So there is something out there that's telling us to keep our windows closed, because for our area, I don't know about Jenny or Sandy's area. They're on the east side, and we're more towards the west side, but a little bit under the centrally located. Right now it's 169, which is very unhealthy. They tell you to keep your windows closed because it can cause throat irritation, breathing problems, and all that stuff. But the sun is out, but you can definitely see the haze from the smoke. I know further up north by the bridge, it is really, really bad. Some people are having to wear masks because it is that bad. It looks like as foggy as fog can be up there, and it just smells awful, they said. So right when we can open up windows, and we can't. So I did have them open this morning. I opened up the front door, and then I opened up the screen door on the sunroom, and after a few hours I closed it back up. So, but I'm just trying to think what I was going to talk to you about. There's so much going on, but I'm not at liberty to say. Last night we ended up finishing snapping the rest of the beans, and I was able to do one canner full, 8 pints last night. My mom called me, and we got a bit of not so good news, and no one passed away or anything like that, but it is my sister, and until I can say exactly what has happened, and they're still trying to figure it out, she's in the hospital. So if you could just pray for my sister. And her name is Cheryl, and she's the youngest of us 4, and she's the one that is the worst off. She has so many health issues. It's just unreal. Nobody needs to be plagued with that many. And so, but anyway, so I did beans last night, and we both sat there, and there was those Long Johns, and we each ate a Long John with a glass of milk. And I'm not going to sit there and say, shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have went to food. because I did. Hi, Simba. Simba just jumped up on the sewing table here. So, so this morning got up and you would have saw the clip before, and been crocheting on that doily. I finished another pot holder crochet one, and I will probably do another one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some for our daughter and our son's wife for Christmas. I think I will give them both each a couple of pot holders, and then I'm going to sew some coasters. The coasters are really easy because they're just like a 5-inch square, and then you have batting in it, and you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-inch squares. So I will, when I do that, I will definitely take pictures, show you what I'm doing and stuff, because they're really nice and easy to do. So they're going to get those, and not for sure what else besides everybody gets the socks, if I get my butt to moving on them. So I'm just going to, just like I did last year, I got a shoebox tote, and I just put the name on the outside, and then I clipped the name on it so that I knew who it went to for the family, and I just kept adding stuff in there. So but yeah, so the canning should be done until it is apple time, and then I have to look over our apple situation to see how much applesauce we have left. I know I don't have any plain applesauce, which I like to have, so because Cinnamon doesn't like me anymore, it upsets my system, so I like the plain, and Jerry likes, of course, the sugar and the cinnamon, but who doesn't? I do. So but yeah, and then this we're hoping to get some corn, and corn we will freeze. We will put it in so much, we'll take it off the cob, and then we'll put so much into a vacuum bag and seal that up and put it in the freezer. So we're setting pretty good. It's just a lot of work this time of year, and I get really tired because it's a lot of work, especially when you have you're carrying an additional 60 plus pounds, a lot less than it was. So Miss Nyla's laying in the little hallway here. Today, Miss Nyla's birthday. She is officially 2 years old. And last night, and I'll put clips of some pictures I took last night and Jerry did, that way for the ones who really don't care, you know, but she's getting so brave, and she stayed out. She came out in the sunroom last night when I was sitting there, and I knew I had to be quiet. She kept looking at me, but if you say your name when she's, you know, a little scared, she will run out of the room. So she wound up on the couch so bad. I was in my recliner, then we have a recliner sofa. And Simba usually lays on the right side seat, and she was over by the left. And she finally jumped up on the left side. And then she started going to sleep. And he was behind the couch. And he got up and he walked around and saw her there. And it was like that dominance thing came out. He jumped right up, jumped on her like he was going to, who knows what, but he was standing right on her. And I just went, hey, hey, hey. And he jumped down, and she just kind of looked like, what just happened? Because I think she was sleeping. And then he came back in, and he jumped up, and he laid on his side. And so the pictures will be of that, and them both settling down and sleeping for a little bit. And then she got up, and then Jerry sent me a picture of her next to him on the couch. And yesterday they stayed up until like noon, and then they all went to bed. Today She's not coming back in the sewing room in her safe place, and she was out in Jerry's area someplace sleeping, because when I came out to take the beans out of the pressure canner, I heard the cry, and she's getting so she's purring and everything as you're petting her, and then we try to pick her up at least a couple times a day so she gets used to that, because you can definitely tell she was not used to that. And the purring stops, but she doesn't struggle. So it's getting better. And now, of course, they both follow you. And anytime you got to go to the bathroom, Jerry keeps the bathroom door closed, because if not, they're both in there with him. And they follow me in there. And of course, she is talking to me, rubbing against my legs, flopping on the floor, purring. And so, but as far as what else I'm going to do today, I just will get the last 3 pints in and clean up the kitchen. I cleaned it up a little bit, and I'm just going to, I think, crochet on that doily. I'm not for sure about that mosaic yet. I found 2 other patterns that I want to do over that. And they're both kind of like a Christmas. And I'll try to remember to take pictures, so as I'm talking about it, I'll be popping it up here. Because I think the water side, the one that has the frogs and the dragonflies and the mallard ducks and the swans and the hearts. I do like that one. I really do. But then I saw in one of my groups, they had released this other one that was more like a Christmas one, and it was a white reindeer in the center with, well, there's 2 reindeer, and then it has a star in the center, and then it was a red background. And I went, ooh, I really like that, because I really love Christmas. And Afghans like that usually take a couple months to do. And so then I was weighing more towards that. But I held off, and I held off, and yesterday someone posted this one they were working on. I belong to, it's called Mosaic World group on Facebook. And they always have a WIP Wednesday. Works in progress is what WIP stands for. And they were saying, what are you working on? And I always go through the comments, because there's like, yesterday when I looked, there was like 67. And I'm scrolling through and I'm going, wow, that's kind of nice. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. All of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness. It was called Winter Solace. Oh, and I would do it exactly like the colors. That one was like, if I'm doing the water slide pond, it was like, okay, this up like this, and then the red reindeer was like this, and then all of a sudden the solace is like, or I should go like this. So this, the pond was a little like this, and then the reindeer's here, and then all of a sudden the solace is like, yes. It is simply gorgeous. So I put all 3 pictures up there. I'm going to remember to do this. And I'm going to say the pond will be, or the water side will be 1, and the red reindeer will be 2, and the solace one will be 3. Which one would you do? I'm really leaning towards number 3. I really am. I tend to make everything for everybody else and nothing for me. And I really like that one. So that might get the money spent on that one. I just love the colors. I just love the look. But, who knows? So, yeah, I'm just kind of doing whatever today as far as the crafts. I need to get back in my sewing room and do a little sewing, but until the canning stuff right now is done, I tend not to be in here. So, but yeah. But other than that, I've just been watching TV on YouTube, and I had my smoothie this morning, and not for sure what's for lunch. So yesterday for lunch, I did not have that chicken stuff. I just ended up having a bowl of cereal. And the bowl of cereal was like at 2:45. And then, I don't know, about 6 o'clock, Jerry made burgers and French fries, you know, the frozen steak fries and the burger. And so we had that. And it was almost too much. I have to look. Simba is getting ready to jump up. He hasn't been up on his perch in a long time. He's been usually out with me sleeping. So, you're going to jump up? You're going to jump up? What you going to do? I took his fun away. Yeah. So, I just need, I think, a day of putting my feet up and not feeling guilty about it. And let's see, tomorrow, Friday, I don't have too much going on. I think Mr. Jerry wants to go over and finish our neighbor's yard. Because he hasn't been able to do that between the rain, because we had rain all day yesterday and into this morning. We're supposed to get rain later too, so he did get, like you saw yesterday, he did get the yard mowed, which he really liked getting that done. Will not go out to the garden today. I went out there yesterday, no sense in it today, because what I saw yesterday, it's not like I have a bunch of like green beans that need to be picked, or the peppers still have another good month to go. Everything has about a month to go, except for the cucumbers, and I still have lots and lots of yellow flowers. So, and I know what they looked like yesterday, and they're not going to be the size that I want them to be to make into relish. So, but I'll check them tomorrow, because they can grow that fast. But the cool weather might slow them down. So, but it's like a beautiful summer day, because it's like in the low 70s, no humidity, just, you know, the air quality sucks. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks again for always stopping by, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and hopefully you are doing something fun and exciting. And Miss Jenny, congratulations on your new place for your business, and I'm sure it is going to just be a wonderful place to be at, and especially being closer to home. And Miss Lainey, my friend, I hope you're doing well. I miss ya, but I know how to reach out to you, so don't ever feel guilty about not doing what you're not doing. So, and for the rest of you, thank you for checking in all the time and always responding. I really appreciate you. And for the ones that just watch and don't say anything, I appreciate you too. So, but yeah, I'm going to let you go. I am going to go and crochet on that doily, and see if I can get some more done on it. It's not a very big doily, but I'd like to get that done, and then that will go into the gift pile too. I had blankets from last year that I had crocheted up. They're in the closet behind me, waiting to go for a gift. I have hats in there that will go. I was originally going to donate them to our daughter where she works at for her ladies, but I haven't been crocheting as many as I thought, so I still will give them to her, and they can do what they want for donations for it. And but so I do have a pile of stuff like that, but I just need to also work on family stuff. And I also need to work on stuff for me. So, but it's all a balance, isn't it? Because I know some years are going to come and I'm not going to be able to do like I did, and won't be able to can, won't be able to freeze like I am. And oh, we did the peach, side note here. We did the freezer jam, the peach freezer jam, last night. So we got nine half pints of freezer peach jam. And so tonight about supper time, 5:30, 6 o'clock, they should be ready to go into the freezer. So that should be good. So all those peaches that we got from the peach truck, all 50 pounds has went into freezer jam and peaches for the year. So, and all the green beans that we got from both places, which was a bushel of green beans, is going to go in our pantry too. So the only thing I'm really short on is the relish and the pickle relish. So, but I got time to do that, because when my pickles start coming on, if they come on like everybody else's, you'll go out there one day and you'll have lots of them. So, and if they're too big, they work great for pickle relish. And if they're just the right size, then they'll work good for refrigerator pickles and then for fresh eating. I know yesterday I sliced into one from when we went to our farmer's market, and I got one, and I sliced half of it up into a salad and was eating it, and Jerry goes, "Oh, wonderful cucumbers." He doesn't like cucumbers. He won't even kiss me if I eat a cucumber. He will tell me to go brush my teeth. That's how he dislikes cucumbers. But the man loves the pickle relish, so, and that's what the majority of it is. So, but we're set and fine. I'm trying to think. We still have pineapple that I canned from last year. That's still good. And if the place we got them at has them for sale like they did last year, they have a pineapple machine that when you buy the pineapple, you just put it in and it slices, cuts, and everything, and puts it in a little container. And I think this year I'll just freeze them, because I like pineapple in my smoothies. And the only time we really eat pineapple, Jerry likes pineapples, but he doesn't eat them unless I, pull them out to say, here's some pineapple. He says, I love fresh pineapple, but he never eats it. So, but we put it on our pizzas, and when I make homemade pizzas. So I need to get back to making homemade pizzas. My next thing I want to do is to do pizza dough. I found a recipe, and I'm going to try it to see if it's a dough we like, and then I can make them up, and then I can vacuum seal them individually in the freezer. And then when I take them out, then I can open the bag so that they will come out and be, unthawed, and where I can roll them out. This year I need to do more pizza sauce from our tomatoes, hopefully. If not, I'll just have to buy more tomatoes like I did last year. I did tomato soup because we use tomato soup with our goulash. And I did spaghetti. It was supposed to be an all-purpose, like cover spaghetti, pizza, and all that stuff. And we tried it one time with a pizza. It was all right, but it's more of like a spaghetti sauce. So I don't need any more of that. So I'm going to do up a pizza sauce. And I think I got these little, Jerry got me at an auction or something, these little jelly jars, about yay big around and about like this tall. And I think it'll be just perfect for the pizza sauces, because it'd be like the size of marinara and stuff like that. So I can at least do maybe a small batch of that for the pizzas. So, because really pizza is not hard to do, it's just very convenient to bump, 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 and yep, I'll be there in 15 minutes, and you know, but in 15 minutes you can have a pizza yourself. So yeah, all these plans. I did make up a full chocolate chip cookie recipe. I might have talked about this, but I'm not for sure. Usually, you know, when you get a bag of chocolate chips and you make the recipe on the back, and then it makes a lot of cookies. We get our chocolate chips from Aldi's because they're not bad. They're pretty good and not a bad price. And so one afternoon I made up a cookie sheet of cookies, and then the rest I put on 2 cookie sheets, and then I flash froze them in the freezer for about 4 hours. I should have probably done them overnight. Next time I'll do them overnight because they were still a little sticky when I put them in the freezer bags. We still have a bag of those in there, and Jerry was kind of, he wasn't poo-pooing me on it, but he wasn't for sure how it would be. And one night he went in there and pulled out the bag, and I had wrote down, you know, the temperature to bake at and the time, and he said they worked out fine, and they baked up wonderful, just like they were fresh. So I definitely will do that again. I used my little melon baller that was like a teaspoon size, because that's what it called for, was a teaspoon size to make the little balls. So they make about, I don't know, about like that, you know. So but I definitely will do that again. That will save, I mean, 1 bag of chocolate chips and the ingredients that I had to put into it, you know, I think it made like 48 little cookie balls. So yeah. So I am trying to be more efficient like that. I'm trying to cut out certain preservatives. It doesn't always work. And but I do know that certain preservatives do bother me, bother my joints and my legs, gives me a headache, and I'm learning what it is. And the frustration part of that is that that stuff doesn't bother Mr. Jerry, and he gets frustrated when I say I can't have that, and because he just feels like, well, then why am I making this if you can't have that spice in it, let's say? Well, we just won't make it anymore. And I get frustrated over that so much. And because I said to him, I said, if it was the opposite, if you couldn't have, I can have garlic, but if I have too much of it, it will physically make me sick. And I said to him, if you were that way, what would you do? And I said, because a lot of recipes call for that. I said, I just don't put the garlic in it. He goes, well, then I wouldn't make it no more. And I says, well, that's ridiculous, because you would be so limited in what you could eat if you didn't put, you know, if you just cut that spice out. You know, I can have it in the homemade ketchup. I just put, you know, if it calls for, you know, 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic, I put even half of that, you know. A little bit goes a long way, and he doesn't realize it. He even tells me, oh, this tastes really good, you know. So I told him, I said, I don't understand what your thinking is, because if you had a child that couldn't have something, you would have to adapt, you know. I said, our friend, her husband loved milk, just like Jerry loves milk. and he developed an allergy not too long ago to milk, and the only milk he can drink is oat milk. And I said that to him, and I said, what would you do? And he says, well, I wouldn't be happy. And I says, but you can't always sit there. And so what are you going to do? Not have nothing with no milk, no longer having cereal because you don't like the milk, you know? So, I don't know. He doesn't realize how much he hurts me when he says stuff like that. He doesn't put stuff in. If we're making a recipe, and I'll say to him, now remember how much, if it's got garlic in it, how much you're going to put in. He goes, well, the recipe calls for garlic. And I says, I said, then make a separate batch. I said, if you want all the spices, then you make a separate batch for you, and then I will finish the other batch for me. No, I'll just not put it in. It just won't taste as good. Well, men. Because, you know, maybe he has a food allergy and he doesn't realize it. But I don't know why I went off on that rant. That would be my grandmama. She would say, I'm going to let you go, and then she'd go off on something else. And then she'd come back around and say, well, I better let you go. Next thing you know, she'd go off on something else. So I come by it naturally. But anyways, I'm glad that you stopped by. I'm glad that I took time to sit down with you. I'm glad that I have somebody who will listen to me and just share my crafts and stuff, and share your crafts with me, and share stuff that has happened to you. And you know, I do not take that lightly when you share stuff with me. That is what friendships are supposed to be. And yes, you can find friendship through YouTube like this, online. If you can find a dating app and find somebody that you end up marrying that you don't know, you sure do friendships like this, because I found them. So, but anywho, thanks again, my friends. I better let you go, and I better go get that last batch of green beans going so I can sit down and edit this vlog and hopefully get it up earlier than the last few times, but no guarantees. So thanks for stopping by again. Hugs, my friends, to the ones that love to be hugged, and to the rest of you, thanks for stopping. See you soon.